I'm Dr. Mollie Marti, and welcome to Resiliency Matters. This is where we take the big resiliency research and best practices and break it down into small bite-sized pieces that you can begin using immediately to strengthen yourself and others. What if you could visit with Iowa's winningest coach and learn what she knows now that she wished she knew then as a younger person? Would you spend the next 28 minutes with us? What if in the next 10 minutes you could learn specific strategies to thrive? Would you hang out with us? Who is us? Our other half today, my friend and head coach of the University of Iowa women's basketball team, Lisa Bluder. Lisa earned my respect more than a decade ago as a coach, and she's continued to earn my respect in how she strengthens youth on court and off court. Welcome.
Thank you, Mollie. It's great to be here. Appreciate the opportunity to visit with you.
You know, when I thought about our THRIVE model, and we have that on our website, crproject.org, I really wanted to bring the model directly to youth. We do a lot of helping youth builders build youth, and I have seen you coach the THRIVE model. I have seen you parent the THRIVE model. I've seen you live it. So you came to mind as the perfect person to kind of talk directly to youth and bring this to life for them.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, and let's get going.
I know you're always up for a challenge, so game on, right?
That's right, game on.
All right. The first factor, trusted adults. Research shows it is the most important factor in building youth. When they're connected to someone who shows they care, that they are positive role models, that they encourage them. How have you seen this play out with your athletes?
Well, we have a lot of terrific women that come to our program with already winning mentalities, and a lot of that is because of the role modeling that they've had and the mentors that they've had, whether it be their parents or whether it be people in their community, teachers or coaches. But then once in a while there's that individual that comes that didn't have that mentor, and they've been able to succeed as well. And so I think having that mentorship is so important for kids, though, in doing well in an environment such as ours where you're really competitive.
And I love the point that you make that none of what we're talking about today is a checklist that a child should look at and go, but I don't have that and I don't have that and I'll never be successful. It's really a checklist that you want to be moving toward and beefing up your resources.
Absolutely. If you have the opportunity to have those kind of resources in your life, take advantage of them. But if you don't, absolutely, it's not an end-all, but know that that's something maybe you should be striving to try to get in your life.
And you have such great advice on this. I've heard you tell young people, find good teammates. What does this mean?
To me, a good teammate is somebody that is going to support your dreams, somebody that's going to encourage you to go for it, encourage you to be your best, and believe in you, believe in your dreams, not tear your dreams down or tell you you're silly for having them, but somebody that's going to push you along, but also somebody that's going to hold you accountable when you kind of stray from your goal or stray from your vision.
So the next factor is high expectations, and the research shows that when we have people who expect the best of us and they support us and help us get there, that we thrive. How do you see this playing out with your team?
I think we have a culture right now of high expectations, and when people come into our program, they feel it. And I don't even think they're attracted to come play for us unless they have those high expectations for themselves, because it is such a feeling around our program to be your very best all the time. And so I think being around people that have high expectations such as yourself, it raises the bar of everybody. Not only the individual, but the entire group is elevated because of that.
And I love that. I know we're talking to kids for this first segment, but I can't help but think of those parents and those teachers and those youth builders. And you're also saying to them, you can create a culture of high expectations. You can create a space in which kids walk in and they know they are supposed to bring their best. They're expected to bring their best.
I think absolutely that we as coaches and adults and parents need to have that. We need to make sure that those expectations are out there. You know, I think kids want high expectations. They want to pursue something, and if you don't set high enough expectations for them, they're going to get bored. They're going to become very, bored with that and not be driven. And so I think as adults and as mentors and as coaches, it's one of our responsibilities to raise those expectations and to get kids excited and motivated to achieve what they didn't even think they could achieve.
I love it. So one tricky part I think that kids can get tripped up on is accountability. It's easy to find friends if they're encouraging you and cheering you on, but we don't always want to be held accountable to making good choices. What does that look like?
In my opinion, accountability is a two-way street. You have to be willing to hold your teammates accountable, and your teammates have to welcome that feedback. Because if they don't welcome it, they're going to stop getting it. You know, if your teammate holds you accountable for doing something on the floor, for example, since I'm a basketball coach, you know, if one of our teammates asks another teammate that they need to rebound better, and they kind of blow them off, they kind of, you know, roll their eyes at them and walk away, well, that teammate's not going to give them that constructive criticism anymore, and it's going to break down the chain. So you have to not only be able to give it to your teammate, you've got to welcome it and understand that teammate is trying to make you the best that you can be. So I think holding each other accountable and accepting accountability is something that's really tough for young people to do. Nobody likes to tell one of their peers that they should be doing something different, or, you know, maybe that they can be doing something better. But at the same time, that's what elevates a team. That's what makes a team really, really strong, is when you have that belief in each other that you're helping them out because you believe in them.
So that attitude, you're saying to kids, have an attitude of being open and welcoming people, getting you better invested in that.
And if you don't welcome that, people are not going to give you that constructive criticism, and then you're going to stop growing.
Right. Okay, so the next factor, resiliency building. We are helping kids grow strength. We're helping them cope with adversity. Self-care is a big piece of this. How about with your team or with young adults? What choices can they be making to take care of themselves?
Well, it's essential in my field. As a coach of highly competitive athletes, self-care is instrumental. If they're not taking care of themselves, how can they possibly come to a 3-hour practice and perform their very best, or go play on the road in a Big Ten environment and expect to get their best if they're not taking care of themselves? And taking care of themselves could mean so much, from eating properly, hydration, which we really stress at the University of Iowa, taking your vitamins, but most importantly with young people is getting their sleep. They neglect to get their sleep, and I think that's one of the worst things for kids especially. They need to have that. They need to be able to be strong on the floor, and without those things, they're just not going to be able to be the best athlete they can be.
Good advice, kids. I know you're young, but you're not immortal, and you need to take care of yourself. So wrapping up our first segment, trusted adults, find your best teammates. High expectations, embrace being held accountable to being the best you can be. And resiliency building, refuel often and move toward meaningful goals one step at a time. How can you strengthen yourself by contributing to others? When we come back.
Take my hand and start a brand new day. And together as one we'll start to see some change.
Underneath everything we are, underneath everything we do, we are all people. Connected, interdependent, united. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
What if you bought something and then discovered you'd been shortchanged? Consider this. For the second year, the FCC reports that Mediacom delivered over 100% of their advertised 15 meg speed, while DSL didn't. Slower speeds mean buffering videos, slower gaming, longer downloads, frustrating timeouts. It's clear why more people are dropping DSL and switching to Mediacom. Call today and get speeds proven to deliver.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Dr. Mollie, Marti, and welcome back to Resiliency Matters. Today we are visiting with Lisa Bluder, head coach of the University of Iowa women's basketball. We are talking about how kids can thrive. We've been through trusted adults, high expectations, and resilience building. The next factor is involvement. This is about kids connecting to others and contributing to them. Your team is known for this, the service component. What does that look like with your team?
You know, it looks like a lot of different things. And sometimes people say, well, why do you get involved in the community so much? Why is it important? That's team building and that's enjoyment. We really grow as a team when we get involved in our community. And some of the things that we love to do the Habitat for Humanity Women's Build, which is every fall. We love to go into the schools and talk to the kids about leadership and reading and the importance of that. Healthy lifestyles. We really enjoy, probably the favorite thing we do is going to visit people in the hospital. Great Hawk fans that are there at the University of Iowa hospitals that we can go and maybe brighten their day and take a few minutes to take their minds off of what they're facing.
And you've been coaching a long time. Do you have a specific memory or something you've seen where a player was really changed by that experience of contributing, or maybe a favorite team memory?
You know, I think the great takeaway for our players is when they go see some kids in the hospital is how fortunate they are, how blessed that they are to have their full health, especially in what we do, in using our bodies to perform on the floor. They walk away very thankful, very grateful. When they go and speak to kids in the community, for them to understand that they're role models and that they can have an impact on kids and use their platform as a women's basketball player to maybe encourage somebody else to have high dreams and expectations. So just a lot of good things come out of the community service.
And on the performance end, of course, my performance psych mind is going and thinking, and that helps them play better on the court as well. So it will help the kids watching this do better in school and be better at home and be better with their friends. And it's all connected that way.
Well, I think there's no doubt that the things that we do off the court help us on the court. And again, great lessons learned, but also those are team building activities that are very, very enjoyable and very fulfilling. When you leave there, you feel good about it.
So if there's a young person watching us right now and they are thinking, wow, I don't do anything outside of school, I'm not doing anything in the community, where might they start? Or do you have any ideas?
I think it's so easy to get started. And I think that's one thing about volunteering is that I think by nature, we're not born as volunteers. We're not born into somebody that just wants to automatically share and give, and we learn those things. And I think volunteering is the same thing. We learn that. And so you just need to jump in, because once you start, it becomes contagious, and you want to, you get the joy from helping other people, so you want to do those things. So jump in with something easy. I'm sure every school has an opportunity of some sort that you can get involved with.
Great. The next factor is vision, and I've heard you encourage young people to be unrealistic dreamers. Tell us about that.
You know, I just say, be an unrealistic dreamer, because I think people set their dreams too low. And why not have unrealistic dreams? Why not just blow people out of the water? I think that's how you achieve real greatness, is by having high dreams and then going for it. But nothing is too big. And I think that's how it all starts, is with that unrealistic dream. And so it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to think about what you can accomplish and have those unrealistic dreams.
And I know you're sitting here as someone who was told you will never get a scholarship to play college basketball. There were a lot of people that doubted your capabilities as a very young Hawkeye coach.
Right.
So you've lived this.
Absolutely. I can remember when I was in high school and setting a dream, and this was 6 years after the passage of Title IX, so this was, there wasn't a lot of women's scholarships back then, and I remember I set my dream to have a scholarship, and I remember even some mentors and some older people coming up to me and saying, oh, that's pretty unrealistic dream, it's probably not going to happen. And a year later, I was at UNI on a scholarship playing basketball. So I think you always have to be wary, again, of people that are trying to diminish your dreams and take those away from you. You can't listen to those people. I think that's really important. But yeah, when my first coaching job, I was 2 years older than the women that I was coaching at St. Ambrose University. That's kind of unrealistic to think about being a college coach at the ripe age of 24. but I did it. And so I'm just so fortunate that I had that opportunity, and I went for it.
That's a good message there. Go for it. The research on vision also talks about hope and the importance of having hope for a better future. You are a coach, so your team has built-in adversity. How do they keep that hope alive that they'll get the next one, that the future is better than what they're feeling right now?
Yeah, and I think one of the lessons I've learned from you, especially Mollie, is, you know, when you look at a loss, or it's a one-time thing. Look at it as a one-time thing. It's not a regular thing. It happens once in a great while. I mean, in competitive sports, there's always going to be a winner and loser, and obviously we want to win a lot more. But I think one of the great things about athletics is it teaches you how to deal with failure. It teaches you how to get back on that horse and go again. And that's how we feel as a team after a loss at Iowa. Is some people may be like, oh, you don't want to go to practice next day. We can't wait to get back to practice. We can't wait after a loss to get back on the floor, have that next opportunity to redeem ourselves and to go out and show what we are really capable of doing. So I think that you've helped me with that, and understanding that this is just a one-time thing, you know, move on from that.
So yeah, today's failure is how I kind of say it, and you are not a failure. So a good message for the kids as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't define you, it defines what happened today, and turn the page and move on.
Right,
So,
and we can learn so much from our failures too, and I think people sometimes forget that the easiest learning often comes from our failures, and going back and really analyzing what went wrong, how can I improve, and so failures can actually be beneficial for you in the long run.
And that's a great segue to enrichment when we're talking about enriching and growing holistically, because, and you've kind of referred to this, but athletics teaches you a lot of life lessons. You're talking about some of them, but what do your athletes get that go well beyond the court?
There are so many lessons I believe that my players learn